Hi, my name is Yui Tan. I'm 30 years old and I'm a race driver, and I drive in the International Series, the Porsche Carrera Cup Asia. Well, motorsport is arguably the largest sport in the world, maybe the second largest behind soccer. It's pretty hard to measure. But you know, there are a lot of fans in the world that watch different parts of motorsport, not just Formula One, but with WRC and Daytona. So there are many different formats of the sport, and millions and millions of people watch it, you know, hundreds of millions even. Well, you know, Asian motorsport is still pretty new. The way that it's been run and operated is still at a fairly new level compared to Europe. Europe and Australia and America are all very strong in motorsport over the last 50 to 60 years. And I think between Europe, Australia and America, there are different strengths. America is obviously very good for advertising and the business side of the sport, sponsorships and media and that sort of thing. Whereas Europe obviously is very strong pedigree in the actual racing motorsport side of it. So, but what's interesting about Asia is that Asia currently, just like every other business, there's a paradigm shift right now, and it's moved a lot of the equity, the businesses and the revenue into Asia. So motorsport has grown tremendously over the next few years, and we've seen an influx of European drivers. So it's coming, it's growing, and I think in the next 10 years it's gonna be very, very big in the world. I think in the last 15 years it's developed quite strongly. There've been you know, random Englishmen, guys from Europe running around. There's a guy called David Sonnecher running around. He's from AFOS. He runs Porsche Carrera Cup, JK Racing, Asian Touring Cars, that sort of thing. And more recently, in the last 5 years on the international scene in Asia, there's been the Porsche Carrera Cup, of course, which runs at the Singapore Grand Prix as well, and the Shanghai Formula One Grand Prix. We also have the Lamborghini Super Trofeo, the Audi R8 Le Mans Series, and the Asia GT3. So we have 4 different international series, all very strong in the region. I think what else is really interesting on a different tier of the sport is that grassroots for the first time has been brought up. And we have in Singapore, Auto Inc. has developed the Singapore Karting Championship, which is a grassroots championship. It teaches people about the sport, how to go about it, and it really is the first step to learn about motorsport to go to more professional categories. I think that the younger generation is getting involved in motorsport. I think a lot of people want to be involved in being drivers and being part of the teams. I think, however, one of the things that is holding us back a little bit is that the depth of the sport is something that people underestimate. So we have teams and we have people that are putting series together or building racing circuits that have a certain idea of what motorsport is, but they haven't really had a very good exposure into the international marketplace. So yes, it is growing, yes, people are getting involved, but I think it's important that it develops correctly. If not, we're going to end up maybe like another motorsport in a third world country in Asia where it's not developed quite properly yet. Well, I think in many different countries, karting is something that's still growing in Asia. Of course, we have the Asian Karting Series, the AKOC, but coming back to a little bit about what I was saying about Auto Inc. and the SKC, I think the Singapore Karting Championship is the first championship in Asia that has really acknowledged the importance of the media. I think in Australia they see racing as 50% media development and media distribution and 50% racing and events. In Asia right now we're looking at 100% events and there's not much media going on. So with people like Auto Inc. and the Singapore Karting Championship, I think it's really important that they build a good format, a good foundation, and from here we can really grow in Singapore and in Asia. I think to be honest with you, sport is something that is not high on the priority list in Asian families as we grow up. I think the modern generation has started to understand that sport is not a recreation but a professional job, and in many cases you can do quite well and make quite a lot of money in these sorts of things. But media distribution, media creation, all this sort of thing is very new in the Asian marketplace. So there is still a lot to be learned, and hopefully we can develop strongly. I think Europe definitely has the established part of the sport created very well over maybe 60 years. I think Formula One's been around for over 60 years now, with Ferrari leading that charge. So they understand a lot. Unfortunately, the business and the economy needs to be able to support it. Motorsport, like many other sports, is an avenue of advertising, and without the big companies doing well and having good consumer demand, it makes it difficult for motorsport to survive. So, you know, Asia is the next place that we think motorsport will come. Motorsport is something that really gets us going pretty quickly. It's a really, really awesome feeling, and well, there's a mystique about it and an aura about it that surrounds the sport, and makes it a little bit unobtainable as well. So it's definitely something for only some people, but something for everyone to watch.
Motorsports to me, you know, it's more than just racing fast. Because everyone likes a little bit of speed, and you know, when they get to know the truth of motorsports, the essence of motorsports, people will start to enjoy it much more, especially in this part of the world.
You know, like one of the great things that the SKC has done actually is we've associated ourselves with ART Motorsports in Zhuhai, and ART were actually responsible for the junior years of drivers like Nakajima and Kobayashi. So they have some sort of idea what it takes to get to the higher levels, and if they do succeed, get into Formula One. So with the SKC, Autowink has actually brought two of their star drivers, Thaddeus Lee and Amin Nozilan. Amin is 14 years old and Thaddeus is 16. And they actually went to China with the Autowing crew and drove single-seaters, Formula cars for the first time, and it really gave a big insight into young drivers about how cars operate, you know, how they handle, and that go-karting is really a grassroots junior level of motorsport, and there is far to go and much to learn.